Job chapter 24 is a continuation of Job's response from chapter 23 to his friend Eliphaz. And in this response, he is discussing the apparent injustices in the world, how it seems like the wicked prosper and they are blessed by God, while the righteous who try to follow in God's footsteps and follow his commands are not blessed, and they become ill and they are poor. He talks about some specific examples with the wicked people and what they do, like exploiting the poor and stealing from the vulnerable. He says that despite their cruelty and their wrongdoing, they seem to prosper, like I just said. He says it seems like they're never punished for their wrongdoing. Although he does come to the conclusion that the wicked will eventually suffer consequences for their actions, which is referring to their time after death when they have to face God's judgment. Chapter 25 is a brief 6-verse response from Bildad to Job's response from chapters 23 and 24. And in this chapter, Bildad talks about how majestic God is and how insignificant man is. He emphasizes how vast God is and how powerful God is. He also emphasizes that no one can be righteous before God. He says that compared to God's holiness, man is completely unworthy of being in his presence. He also emphasizes that man is just naturally sinful and there is no avoiding sin. Chapter 26 is Job's response to Bildad and his other two friends. He criticizes them for being so unhelpful in his time of suffering when he needs comfort from his friends. He then shifts the focus to God's majesty, his holiness, his power, and control over everything. In chapter 27, Job continues what he was saying, and he begins the chapter by reinforcing his faithfulness to God. And in verse 3, he says, "As long as my breath is in me and the Spirit of God is in my nostrils, my lips will not speak falsehood, and my tongue will not utter deceit." He talks about how he will never admit to being wrong because he has a clear conscience. He knows he was living an upright life, following in the ways of God. He also denounces the idea that the wicked will ultimately prosper and instead they will ultimately see judgment from God. He states that their wealth cannot protect them, their families will suffer, and they will be swept away by judgment. In chapter 28, Job is discussing wisdom, and he starts by acknowledging the skill that it takes for certain humans to be able to mine and uncover precious metals from the earth. He highlights man's ingenuity and determination to become wealthy, but he says that material wealth is not the same as true wisdom, and you cannot find true wisdom buried in the depths of the earth. He says that neither the living or the dead know the location of true wisdom, and he says that only God understands the way to wisdom. He says that he alone sees everything, and he has established the order of creation. He closes the chapter in verse 28 by saying, "Behold, the fear of the Lord, that is wisdom."